This discussion addresses significant changes in the 2005 National Electrical Code (NEC) impacting electrical plans review and the inspection process. The following points highlight key updates for implementation and compliance. It's important to remember to review the entire 2005 NEC document to ensure complete understanding and application of all applicable changes. Firstly, 110.16 addresses flash protection warning requirements, which now include meter socket enclosures. Secondly, 210.5c expands identification requirements for ungrounded conductors to include all branch circuit types, not just multi-wire branch circuits. This marking should identify each system, but is not required to be identified by phase. Thirdly, 210.8 A7 adds ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, protection to receptacles in laundry and utility rooms of dwellings where installed within 6 feet of the outside edge of a sink. This includes the receptacle installed for a washing machine. Fourthly, 210.8b2 adds a definition of kitchen for the purpose of applying this section. Fifthly, 210.8b4 and 5 add GFCI protection to receptacles installed in outdoor public spaces and were installed to comply with section 210.63, which covers heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration equipment outlets. Sixthly, 210.8c adds GFCI protection to boat hoists installed in dwelling unit locations and supplied by 125 volts, 15 amps and 20 amps branch circuits. Seventhly, 210.12b provides updates to arc fault circuit interrupter, or FSI, requirements in dwellings and provides new exceptions. Sections 760.21 and 760.41 were amended to indicate FSI protection is not permitted on fire alarm circuits, but this does not include single-station smoke alarms installed in dwellings. Eighthly, 210.52c revises spacing requirements for receptacles at countertops and provides figure 210.52 to help determine compliance. Ninthly, 210.52d provides a new exception that permits receptacles to be installed on the side or face of the basin cabinet in a bathroom, similar to the exception for kitchen counter space receptacle requirements. Tenthly, 215.2 includes a new sentence that indicates the grounded conductor of a feeder circuit shall not be smaller than that required by 250.122, which covers the size of the equipment grounding conductors. 11thly, 220 involves an entire article that has been reorganized and renumbered. 12thly, 240.5 bone now indicates supply codes of listed appliance or portable lamp shall be considered protected when applied within the appliance or portable lamp listing. 13thly, 240.24 is a new section providing accessibility requirements and height restrictions to overcurrent devices similar to that in section 404.8a. 14thly, 250.45 has its last sentence rewritten to clearly indicate the earth is not to be considered as an effective ground fault current path. 15thly, 250.30 covers the grounding of separately derived alternating current systems, which has been completely rewritten and renumbered. 16thly, 250.50 changes the term available to present, indicating all electrodes must be bonded together to form the grounding electrode system, although the intent of this section did not change. 17thly, 250.119 has its last sentence now indicating insulated or covered conductors with colors or markings as permitted by this section shall not be used for ungrounded or grounded circuit conductors. This also indicates the colors used to identify equipment grounding conductors are permitted for identification of grounding electrode conductors. 18thly, 250.146 adds a requirement that at least one of the insulating or retaining washers shall be removed from the receptacle to comply with the rest of the provisions of this section. 19thly, 310.10 includes a new fine print note, or FPN, No. 2, indicating conductors installed in conduit exposed to direct sunlight in close proximity to rooftops have special ambient temperature considerations. 20thly, 314.16 Burn adds a new requirement that requires a looped, unbroken conductor not less than twice the minimum length required for free conductors, and 300.14 shall be counted twice when calculating box fill. 21st, 320.10, 328.10, 330.10, and 332.10 at the FPN to the end of the section indicating the uses permitted is not an all-inclusive list. 22nd, 320.30 and 330.30 revise these sections to provide separate provisions for the securing and supporting of Type AC and Type MC wiring methods. 23rd, 342.22 through 388.22 replace the word permitted with not prohibited to indicate the installation of cables in raceways is permitted unless the respective code article prohibits the practice. 24th, 334.80 as a provision for ampacity adjustments for NN cables bundled together and passing through wood framing and that are fire or draft stopped. 25th, 408.4 specifies every circuit and circuit modification shall be legibly identified as its clear, evident, and specific purpose or use. 26. 410.4d adds a new requirement that requires luminaires located within the specified shower or bathtub zone to be listed for a damp location or wet location was subject to shower spray. 27th, 410.73g is a new section that requires a disconnecting means for all circuit conductors, including the grounded conductor, supplying the ballast of specific types of fluorescent luminaires. 28th, 422.16b4 now permits a range hood to be cored and plug connected. 29th, 422.31b adds a new sentence that requires the device used to lock out the panel be permanently installed on the breaker or switch. This is to prevent the use of methods that can be easily defeated. 30th, 422.51 is a new section that requires cord and plug connected vending machines to be GFCI protected by either an integral device or GFCI protected receptacle outlet. 31st, 430.8 and 440.4b require short circuit current ratings to be marked on the nameplate of motor controllers and multimotor and combination load refrigeration, air conditioning, and other equipment that contains a hermetic motor compressor. 32nd, 501.15b2 revises this section to permit the use of a seal in the transition for a Class 1 division to location to an unclassified location to be non-explosion proof if certain conditions are met. Duct seal may not be identified as an approved seal. 33rd, 504.10b adds new text indicating simple apparatus is permitted to be installed in any classified location if the temperature class of the apparatus does not exceed the table value or the calculated value as determined by the section. 34th, 511.4 and 514.8 and its exception have been deleted, making the underground space below a classified area and unclassified area commercial garages and motor fuel dispensing facilities. 35th, 514.13 specifies the requirements for maintenance disconnecting means provided for dispensing equipment at motor fuel dispensing facilities. 36th, 517.14 includes a new requirement calling for the bonding of panel boards of different systems to be bonded together when serving the same patient vicinity in healthcare facilities. 37th, 517.15c requires receptacles installed in pediatric locations of healthcare facilities to be listed tamper-resistant or employ a listed tamper-resistant cover. There are currently no products listed as a tamper-resistant cover meeting the provisions of this section. 38th, 518.2b revises this section to indicate that Article 518 assembly occupancies only applies to the portion of the building identified as the assembly area. 39th, 525.11 is a new requirement that requires multiple services and or separately derived systems supplying structures at carnivals, circuses, fairs, and similar events to be bonded to the same grounding electrode system where the structures are less than 12 feet apart. 40th, 590.5 now requires temporary decorative lighting used for holiday lighting and similar purposes in compliance with 590.3b to be listed per the provisions of Underwriters Laboratories, or all 588 standard for seasonal and holiday decorative products. 41st, 620.22 now states the required car lighting of an elevator shall not be connected to the load side of a ground fault circuit interrupter. 42nd, 680.12 now requires the required maintenance disconnecting means for pool equipment be installed in a readily accessible location. 43rd, 682 is a new article that covers the requirements for natural and artificial made bodies of water. And lastly, 44th, 725 has been completely reorganized and renumbered. It's crucial to understand that this is not an exhaustive list. Always consult the complete 2005 NEC for specific applications and requirements.